Hello guys, I'm back. So we're going to make this sheet, kind of like a cheat sheet, just so you know how this all works. This is wet on wet, wet on dry. It's kind of a nice blend. And this is too much paint. This is too much water. How to soften hard edges, layering colors, and glazing tips. Okay, so moving on. Here's our new sheet. How to know you've got too much paint. You can't see through it. That's pretty much it. A little bit of water. I'm going to use Payne's Gray because it's so dark and intense. Watch this. So, too much paint. See that? No, not good. So wipe off the excess. Rinse out my brush. Use a little bit of it. That's better. Watch this. When you add too much water, it saturates the paper and you can see the little nubs. And then it creates this little fun area that no one likes. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Wet on dry. So this is wet, and I'm going to add wet brush with, let's say, we'll do yellow. Not too much of it, just a little bit. Wet on dry. So this is pretty dry. When I put yellow over top, a couple of strokes down, you've got a nice green. Isn't that lovely? Now, let's do the same thing with the same colors. Oh yeah, this is a good tip. See how much blue's on there? That's way too much paint. You're like, what? How is that way too much paint? There's hardly anything on there. But you'd be surprised. Okay. So wet on wet, let's do a full blue rectangle here. Make it nice and blue. Whole thing. I'm not going to let that dry because I want it to be wet on wet. So let's do the yellow on top of that. Rinse the brush. Dab it every time. A little bit of yellow. Oh, I didn't clean it very good. I got some blue in there. Darn it. Tiny bit of water. Now, wet on wet. Here goes. Here's the same thing. See the difference that makes? 2 or 3 strokes. Darker, brighter. Think about it. So, then we'll go into glazing. So glazing means you can layer things as it's still dry, and you dry them in between each layer. Okay? So let's say I want to do a red stripe, just for fun. Maybe it's a flower or something like that. So I'm going to do a red stripe right through it. Let that dry. Leave it. Now I'm going to do a green stripe. So I'm going to make some green right here. Rinse the brush in between color changes. Very important. Put some green in there. Isn't that nice? A lovely green. I like that. It's nice. Put a green line right through there. Yeah, maybe some more blue in there. Okay. Leave that to dry. This is glazing. So it's layer, dry, layer, dry, layer, dry. Okay? Now layers is different. That really helps, doesn't it? Layering means you layer it as you need it to be layered. So I want to put a blue layer in. But I also want to put a red layer right over top of it. Let's see what happens. I'll leave that to dry a bit. Almost purple, right? Well, the reason it's like a little more of a mauvey shade is because we have a warm red and a cold blue. Okay, you'll never get the purple you think you're going to get if you mix those together. I'll leave that to layer, so I want that just to soak right in. It's a bit like wet on dry, a little bit. Actually, sorry, a bit more like wet on wet. Now softening. When you have a hard edge, let's say you've got a huge shape you're filling in, and you missed a section. This is the edge of the animal's body or flower. You're like, I left a white space. Dang it. So you just have to get a very wet brush, and you just go over that edge. Keep going over just gentle, in circular motion till it sort of disappears. It's kind of magical. Actually, if you happen to drop a color on your painting and you're like, that's not supposed to be there, this is sort of the same thing. It's the same thing. You just soak the paper till it kind of disappears and you sop it up with your handy Kleenex, everyone. Look at that layer now. Isn't that nice? So that's to dry for a few more minutes. Let's do one more thing. The glazing's ready for its next layer. So I'm going to put a glazing layer. It's like a glaze over top. Just one little top color. Look what I did though. It's not cool. Got some blue in there. So take this little guy. Again, handy. He just soaks up the excess green we don't want in there. Some fresh water. There we go. Isn't that pretty? It's not bad. A little bit more water in the brush. Oops. Glaze over top. It just kind of intensifies the yellow without going too crazy on yourself. Pretty cool, hey everyone? So that's all there is to that. I'm going to do one more little thing with this blue one. I want to intensify the blue with the wet on wet. It's still pretty wet. So I'm going to put a little extra blue over top. I want to show you guys how it mixes into the color that goes with it. So I'm going to put some fresh yellow in there. And see how it kind of bleeds into it? Ooh, pretty cool, hey guys? There's lots of stuff I can show you guys, but this is it. We'll do this, okay? Softening, layer, and glazing. That I overdid that. That shouldn't be doing that as much as it is, but you get the idea. So, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. We're going to go on to our unicorn next. See you in a bit.